The United Kingdom is suffering from a quiet, devastating collapse of living standards we haven't witnessed since the 1950s. Stop for a second and look at your bank account. Look at your last grocery bill. You are poorer than you were 6 months ago. That isn't a feeling. It is an economic fact driven by forces actively working against you. Millions of families can no longer afford the basic necessities of life, and the financial catastrophe brewing beneath the surface is about to get unthinkably worse. We're not talking about a recession. We are talking about a permanent, irreversible reduction in the quality of British life. The data being frantically passed around Westminster paints a picture so bleak. Government officials are reportedly holding emergency meetings, desperately trying to figure out how to stop the complete economic meltdown. This video is not about politics. It is about your money, your home, and your future. The truth you're about to discover will fundamentally change how you view Britain's economic future, and it will show you exactly why your money is worth less today than it was yesterday, and why tomorrow it'll be worth even less. Before we dive into this economic catastrophe, stop right there. If you're tired of being lied to by the mainstream media and you need the unfiltered truth about the UK economy to protect your family and your wallet, you need to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now. Don't wait. This is the only warning you might get. Forget the government's celebration of a 5% headline unemployment rate. That number is a carefully crafted illusion designed to tranquilize the public while the real crisis destroys the working class. The official figures you hear only count the people receiving benefits. They completely ignore the millions who have simply given up, and they mask the terrifying reality of underemployment. Underemployment that has exploded to levels not seen since the financial crash of 2008. Talking about millions of people who are desperate to work more hours but are trapped in part-time contracts that don't pay enough to cover basic bills. The truth is in the statistics. The Office for National Statistics buries deep in their reports. Nearly 3.2 million workers are crying out for more hours. That is nearly 10% of the entire workforce screaming for a stable life. These are your neighbors, skilled tradespeople, nurses, teachers who can't get guaranteed shifts. Then you have the silent, disturbing surge of people who have left the labor market entirely. Another 2.7 million people have stopped looking for work, driven out by a mysterious surge in long-term sickness that followed certain global events we're not supposed to question. This is not laziness. This is a system where people are working longer, harder, and for less, until they are literally too burnt out, too stressed, or too sick to continue. And finally, the zero-hour contract. This has become the new normal, where employers treat human beings like on-demand robots they can switch off whenever profits dip. The gig economy promised liberation. Instead, it created a new underclass who don't know if they'll earn enough next week to keep the lights on. It's an economy that rewards fragility, precarity, and desperation. But this job's disaster is just the beginning of the financial destruction. Inflation might officially be slowing down, but anyone who actually shops for groceries knows that number is a sick, calculated joke. We are not dealing with temporary price spikes anymore. We are dealing with permanent price floors. Food prices have jumped over 30% in 2 years, and they are never coming back down. That is a permanent reduction in your standard of living, permanently locking you into being poorer. This is the brutal reality of the 21st century economy. Look at energy. Companies are still charging rates that would have caused riots 10 years ago. But we've been so beaten down by crisis after crisis that we just silently accept it. The average household is spending nearly $3,000 more per year just to maintain the lifestyle they had. In 2021, where is that money supposed to come from when real wages have been flat or falling? The government's own data shows real wages have fallen by 3% even after supposed generous pay rises. Private sector workers are being suppressed by the threat of AI and automation being weaponized to keep wages down. But the most insidious theft of all is it's the silent killer. Products get smaller, but prices stay the same or go up. That chocolate bar is 20% smaller. Your favorite cereal box has less inside. Companies are literally stealing food off your table while maintaining the illusion that prices are stabilizing. This isn't just inflation. This is greedflation, where businesses use the cover of global events to hike prices and achieve record profit margins. They are actively cutting corners, more water in your chicken. Clothes that fall apart after 3 washes while the political class does nothing. The illusion of stability is being maintained while they commit daylight robbery. Now, let's talk about the impossible bind. The Bank of England is in a choice that will devastate millions no matter what they decide. If they cut rates, they risk unleashing inflation again, destroying the last sliver of your purchasing power. If they keep rates high, the housing market collapses and takes the entire economy with it through mass defaults and a commercial property bust. Governor Andrew Bailey knows this, which is why his recent speeches sound like a man preparing the public for disappointment. The market is praying for rate cuts, but rates are a blunt instrument that cannot fix an economy systematically broken by supply issues and corporate greed. This is the system punishing the responsible. Savers who did everything right, who lived within their means and put money away for retirement, are being systematically robbed through negative real interest rates. Your savings account paying 4% interest means Absolutely nothing when the real inflation rate for the things you actually need to buy is running at 8% or higher. You are losing money every single day you save it. This is a deliberate wealth transfer from responsible savers to reckless borrowers, engineered by a political class that needs to keep the debt bubble inflated at all costs to avoid facing the music. This monetary policy is not a mistake. It is a systematic erosion of the middle class, and the consequence of these high rates is a time bomb ticking beneath your feet. The mortgage time bomb everyone forgot about is still ticking away. Over 1.4 million households will see their fixed-rate mortgages end in 2025, moving from rates around 2% to potentially 6% or higher. Do the math. That is an average increase of $500 per month for a typical family home. How many families can absorb that kind of catastrophic hit when they're already struggling with energy, food, and stagnant wages? The answer is virtually none. This is why building societies are quietly preparing for a wave of defaults that could make the 2008 banking crisis look like a practice run. But the collapse isn't just about defaults, it's about the landlord exodus. Tax changes and new regulations have made buy-to-let unprofitable for all but the largest corporate investors. Over 400,000 rental properties have been sold in the last 3 years, and they are not being replaced by properties for sale. They are often being bought up by other large-scale corporations. This is creating a rental market apocalypse. Remaining properties see frantic bidding wars with dozens of desperate tenants offering months of rent up front. Students can't find accommodation. Young professionals are living in their childhood, bedrooms into their 30s, and families are being forced into temporary accommodation that costs councils billions while destroying lives. The foreign investment that supposedly supports the market is actually the final phase of Britain's transformation into a colony owned by overseas wealth funds and oligarchs who leave properties empty as financial instruments. This is no longer a housing market. It is a housing war fought between desperate tenants and corporate giants. This is the most crucial truth. The divide between asset owners and everyone else has reached proportions that would make Victorian industrialists blush. If you owned property or stocks before 2020, you've seen your wealth increase by 30 to 50% just by doing absolutely nothing. If you work for a living, you've gotten poorer every single day. This is not capitalism. This is a rigged system where work is punished and ownership is rewarded beyond all reason. The generational wealth transfer that was supposed to flow from baby boomers to younger generations has been brutally reversed. Instead of an inheritance, young people are watching their parents' wealth get extracted through care home costs, equity release schemes, and medical expenses. The average inheritance has dropped by 20% in real terms, and the age at which people receive it has increased to 61. By the time the younger generations inherit anything, they'll be too old to use it for building a life. The UK is rapidly transforming into what economists call a rentier economy, where a tiny elite extracts wealth from everyone else through rent, interest, and fees. Nothing is owned. Everything is a subscription. You pay rent for housing, rent for software, rent for entertainment, rent for transportation. Your entire life is a set of recurring payments that can be raised or cancelled at any time. This control is amplified by foreign ownership of British assets reaching critical levels. Your water company, your trains, your energy supplier, they are all sending profits abroad while British consumers pay some of the highest prices in Europe for deteriorating services. This is not national decline. It is the sell-off of the family silver to connected foreign insiders who now control our basic necessities. Budget 2025 was supposed to be the moment the government finally admitted the scale of the crisis and took radical action. Instead, we're getting more of the same managed decline, disguised as difficult decisions and responsible governance. Tax rises are coming, but they'll hit exactly the wrong people. The wealthy have already moved their money offshore or into sophisticated tax-efficient structures. The remaining middle class, what's left of it, will bear the brunt through stealth taxes like fiscal dragware. Frozen thresholds push minimum wage workers into higher tax brackets without any announcement. They don't have to raise the tax rate. They just have to freeze the line where it starts. And look at our public services. The NHS is at breaking point, not because of winter pressures or demographic changes, but because of deliberate underfunding designed to manufacture consent for privatization. The same destructive playbook is being run on every public service. Starve it of resources, point to the inevitable failures, then sell it off to connected insiders who will charge you more for less. Our schools are literally falling down. Our hospitals are using equipment from the last century. Political paralysis has reached the point where everyone knows what needs to be done: a complete overhaul of the tax system, a massive public investment program, a restructuring away from financial engineering toward actual production, but nobody has the courage to do it. We get committees studying committees while the country slides toward irrelevance. So, what does all this mean for you? sitting there watching this video, wondering if there's any hope left. We are following the same disastrous path as Argentina in the 1970s, a once wealthy nation that destroyed itself through political incompetence and economic mismanagement. The difference is we're doing it more slowly and with better public relations. But the destination is the same, a formerly prosperous country reduced to irrelevance, while its people wonder how it all went so wrong. Your everyday life is about to change in ways you are not prepared for. Shopping will become a strategic operation where you buy essentials in bulk, when on offer because you know prices will be higher next month. Heating your home will be a luxury you ration. Forget about discretionary spending. Every pound will be scrutinized and most pleasures will be sacrificed. The political class won't save you because they're either benefiting from the current system or they're too afraid to challenge it. The Bank of England can't save you because they're out of tools that actually work. This is the reality of the UK economy as we head into 2025. It's the slow-motion collapse of living standards that will define the next generation. The only question remaining is whether you'll prepare for what is coming, or whether you'll be another casualty of the greatest economic disaster in modern British history. The data doesn't lie. The trends are clear. Time is running out to protect yourself and your family. This is Economy Reporter, bringing you the unfiltered truth about the UK economy that nobody else will tell you.